Hey guys, it's Tarkin coming at you with another game of Minecraft, and we are coming into the hardcore world, and, you know, just trying to aim for a nice, boring day. The ceremonial awarding of Garuda with his morning seeds, and this song is fun and dancey, so we'll see how that ends up. But I'm not much of a dancer, but I sometimes bop my head around like a silly person from time to time, so, you know, that's just a thing that you might see some days. I was thinking, obviously, just to continue on with what we've been doing, we're just going to keep on making holes in the ground and planting things into them. But I need to decide where to plant the first cherry tree. I don't love that hiss. Okay, it's just a spider. You know, they sort of sound like they could be creepers, and that's what I can't stand. You know, they don't hurt. They just hurt my spirit whenever they blow up my things. I don't like when they do that. It bugs me. But I am carrying a bunch of wealth around, and I don't remember why. It's possible that I just forgot to put it up. I ran out of space. I've got 19 bones, and that is going to come in handy. So basically, we're just going to terraform just a little bit, plant a couple more pumpkins, and then we'll run around, jam some beetroot down the pigs' faces, and then probably run up to that ridge. So the eventual plan is that I need to... no, that'll be a great spot. Actually, you know, the first tree doesn't matter because I'm going to have to chop the whole thing. So, important thing about cherry trees is they just need, like, a lot of space. If there's anything above them, I don't know how much, but it's definitely a real problem. If you have things that are above cherry trees, then they will... I got distracted by the hole that the creeper left. It's so obnoxious. I wish they would not do that thing. But they are always going to. I, among my other faults, have forgotten that my hoe is broken, and need to get another one. They don't break that often in real life. I mean, you can use one for... Oh, no, not fire. I almost burned down my own house. That would have been shocking and disappointing. I'll take the stone one. The thing about stone is that it breaks very quick, but when all you're doing is... you know, planting the crops, you don't need it for anything else, because you could make an iron one, but you only get like a couple hundred uses out of them, which if you're like a normal person probably sounds like a lot of uses, but it's not a lot of uses. But we're just going to keep on living the dream and planting wheat. Other people have expressed to me that they don't think planting wheat is as fun as I think it is, but it just goes to show that it takes all kinds. This song is nice and energizing. Yeah, I've been making a terrible mistake not having music in these videos, and it's really awesome that you know, YouTube has a place for people like me who don't know what they're doing, that they can just find all of the resources for music in one place. It's also just like a lot more fun for me. I guess I always could have like had music that wasn't in the game in my own ears and just, you know, had a whole separate existence. I'm not sure I know where this song's going with it, but you know, it's still pretty fun. I wouldn't say that I like have taste. I would say that I like a lot of music. This is slightly different than what I would normally hear, but this segment is actually very similar to what I would normally hear, so it's just a little musical interlude. But there's several famous electronic streams that I think absolutely everybody has heard of. You know, the lo-fi girls, the chillwave and synthwave, and I like all of that stuff. I like haven't liked that sort of music for a super long period of time in my life, just a couple of years. I saw a meme about lo-fi girl and then got into it, but I'm quite sure that lots of the music that I do listen to would not be allowed freely on YouTube. But you know, if you wrote a song and you think it's good, just send me a link somehow, and if I'm allowed to use it, I'll put it in a video and rep it, and try not to be mean, even if my natural inclination is always to be mean. I'm only kidding. I never want to discourage people, but sometimes they come up and say, hey, I've been working on this, and you're like, okay, cool. And then they give you a cover of Wonderwall, and there's probably space in the world for a brilliant cover of that, but is it going to be what you get given? And that's an unfair example, because I used to like that song a lot. 25 years ago, and that's picking on people too, because I shouldn't mock people for liking some mainstream thing. I like plenty of mainstream stuff. I'm gonna sit around and make fun of that when you can list any like major play, and those are the ones that I like. Like, to an actual theater person, I'm probably super obnoxious. To like an actual classical music person, they're probably like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything. But I have like very shallow tastes in a lot of stuff. But actually, I like this song. What do we got here? It's called Observer by Dyalla, Dyalla. And I keep saying that I need to figure out how to get an overlay for this, and now that I say it out loud, like all the time whenever I sort of say I wonder how this is done, I think I bet I could just go on the internet, which I have access to, and look for a video where someone would like politely tell me how to make everything happen. But I often have what I would classify as what I usually call, so you may have even heard me call this before, insincere desires. That's when you don't not mean it. You're not saying, oh, I'm gonna do this thing, I promise. You're just saying like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if I were a different kind of person? Because plenty of people would have already like figured out how to make the music automatically populate by now, because it hasn't been days. This is actually the second video I've made with music, but and as always, I hope that the balance is okay, because I don't know, but if it's not, I'm sure that there are many remedies that are available. And I've been thinking, so we'll just clear out a little bit more here. I need more torches, and I don't love that those are on the ground. Just because they potentially would get in the way of a place where we would want to drop. Not irrigation there, but just the free movement. We might accidentally hit it with an axe, and just in general, if it's raised up a little bit, it gives us a little more freedom to do something else there if we wanted to. And it's it's more cinematic. When you look at it from afar, it would look more intentional to have like a place for the torches, as in the city, rather than just this sort of ad hoc business that I've got going on here. But I should remember that I don't actually have any more torches. And the night's about to start. I think we're just going to do the smart boring thing and just go ahead and crash for the night. Is that every single seed? No, of course not. We've got to have one for the goodest chicken. And now we will lay down, and there we go. Feels good. In the distance, we see the burning destruction of our enemies. There might be something to clean up over here. Is my axe broken? My axe is broken. That's right. And the shovel's about to crack. We are really getting through our gear. Our helmet, we'll get a couple more combats out of it probably, but it's not a terrible situation to be in at this point. And I think what we want to do is just think about where I want to make this cherry grove. I mean, obviously we can dot a couple over there, and then, yeah, we don't want to put it on this ridge because that'll like intervene with our view over there. So I think we'll make an artificial one. We'll start it right here, and just chop some of these trees down, and that'll be a fun thing to do for a video. Oh no, I forgot to give Garuda a morning seed. He'll be so upset. We'll have to go and take care of that. You never want to break a ritual with your pets. And actually, there we go. We've got something to do. So we're just going to jump up and cut down the tree, and then use that tree to plant more trees, and that's the circle of life. Garuda knows all about that. He thinks that the circle of life is the circle in which I move to give him seeds in the morning. He's not terribly wrong about that. So cherry trees, when you cut them down, I don't want to pretend like I'm an expert, although I've worked some on them. But usually I just cut them down from the ground up like so. And then I'll just like pillar up to it. And then you do this if it's centered, and if it's a big one, then you go up into the middle, and then you just sort of knock it down from the inside. But this is going to get us a fair few. I don't want to quote a number. I hate starting a sentence like that. Like, you're usually going to get 5 cherry saplings out of a normal cherry tree, because first of all, I don't know, and one thing I really hate is a misrepresentation of facts as they relate to numbers, unless it's hyperbole, which is fine. It's okay to joke about a number, but this is fun too. This actually reminds me a whole lot of the Final Fantasy VI Like Kefka theme in a way. It is called Losing Your Marbles by the Soundlings, and this is nice. Not least being more interesting to watch, I'm sure, with a little bit more music in the background, because the Minecraft music would cut out, and me having a fun time with it. But it's just, this is a fantastic avenue for me to find new songs. Like, this is a good one. I'm gonna show this one to people. Oh yeah, you got a little continuation of the theme there, and they got like a little bit of strings in the background. This is good stuff. I'm not gonna like pretend to know stuff about music. First of all, I don't. I was in band in high school, but I played percussion, which, if any of you are in band, that tells you everything you need to know about me. But, of course, you don't need to know how to do an art to be a sincere enjoyer of that practice. Don't love this. Okay. Yeah, the voice wasn't for me. I'm sure it's a fine song, and I don't mean to diss it. I'm not gonna like call out who it was. I think I just said something nice about the band that made it, but that's not my sound. But this is cool. I actually could just I could listen to stuff like this and cut down trees in Minecraft all day long, and I mean, frankly, that's a lot of what you might be getting here. So why sugarcane? Of course, why sugarcane is because we have to get paper. I don't think we really need the sugar aspect of it, but the paper is very important. Oh, the last toe broke, and some irrigated land disappears, or rather, no irrigated land disappears if it's fertilized. With the hoe, it stays fertilized even if the crops aren't in it. But if that's one way you can tell if it's sort of outside of the range. But that is, that's how to farm badly. And of course, if I built that wheat anywhere that was better, like in this area, it would be just considerably, dramatically superior farming method. But once it starts growing up, we'll get rid of the stuff on the shore over there. But I was really just scrambling to get the work done at that point. Do we have plenty of coal? Yeah, we're just going to get the charcoal going and keep on rolling. I think we need to make a couple more hoes. I've got all that gravel, and I don't really think I need it. I guess I could drop it and try to get flint out of it. That would be like super obnoxious. When you have a really good sorry, I got distracted by the strangeness and then the xylophone. As a percussionist, as I was just bringing up, we love a good xylophone part. It's probably not an actual xylophone. Some, xylophone-shaped instrument. There's like so many different kinds of xylophone-shaped instruments, and I do know the names of many of them, but I'm not gonna prove it to you right now. You can't make me. And I just don't want my old band teachers to think that I've forgotten how to pronounce glockenspiel improperly or properly. You can make a lot of people upset by saying cultural things slightly wrong. So now we've got 36 pumpkins already, which is not a lot of pumpkins. I need to start deciding how I'm going to work on these farmers. you know, it'll be better just to ratchet up production first, I think. We're going to go ahead and rip the coal out. We'll put it into the bottom in case we want it here for something else, but we don't want to use coal because coal can be actually sold to villagers, and charcoal cannot. Here we go. The only thing to do now is plant a little bit more wheat, and then I think we're gonna go ahead and call it. The problem with planting like I'm doing here with different food in different rows is that you can sometimes waste it. But I think that's really the only issue with it. I don't think that they like hate growing next to each other. I've never noticed a problem with this sort of separate crops going on. Sugarcane definitely doesn't care. Sugarcane will grow anywhere. That rhymed slightly more than I wanted it to. But after moving all of the charcoal over here, I realized that I need to make some more torches because that will be a good thing to do. Do I have any sticks over here? Nope, because of reasons that are obvious. We're just going to go ahead and cherry tree up a little bit here. Do this one there, that'll probably grow, and that's probably far enough away from other stuff. This might be far enough away from those. We'll knock down a couple. It's the sort of thing that I could test, because there's once long ago when I was trying to bone meal up a cherry tree and it just wouldn't go at all. And then I figured it was because it didn't have the vertical space. And we'll put one there. And again, this is just not for like the permanent places to be beautiful. This is just so that we'll have an area of cherry trees around us that we can exploit in the future. But here we go. Good Garuda. Peaceful and wonderful Garuda. And that's another hardcore day down where you wouldn't have known the world was hardcore at all if I didn't tell you. Or, no, that's right. The little hearts have angry little eyes on them. Like they're glaring at you. That's probably not what they're supposed to indicate, but that's sort of what I see. And the pumpkin patch is paying great dividends. So, yep, this is absolutely the optimal way to do it. You give one space on either side, so 2 in between the rows, and then they will spit out either side. Sometimes when you break a pumpkin, you'll see that other seeds right around it immediately get taller, and I think that's something to do with the interaction of pumpkins to space. But we're going to take advantage of the greatness of pumpkins and just build another row right here. Right here, right here. And normally I would go like further than that, but when the land's not fertilized at all, it'll often quickly go back to seed, as they say, although that is absolutely not what it would mean in that context, because these are the seeds that I'm trying to go back to. And planting going forward is like the worst. I don't know why I'm doing it. Maybe because I too am the worst. Because you really want to plant going backward, and then you don't waste any when you're just like holding back. Because of course the more inputs you have to do, the less efficient your farming becomes. And we're going to be able to, yeah, harvest this entire area here, which is great. It's all grown. And rather than replant there, we're going to go ahead and move the wheat into the wheat field zone. And I find that planting first and then coming back and irrigating right afterward is better, but I also don't like have like a formula for how the irrigation works. I just sort of throw down stuff, and whenever I notice that the land's not irrigated from the color being the wrong shade of brown, I try to run up to it. But this is what planting looks like when you're me. It's not that formulaic. It's just running around and getting the job done. And the great thing about not caring about the structure terribly is that when you make a little misstep or whatever, and you go to the side slightly more than you had intended, it doesn't matter. Because these aren't like, you know, these aren't fields that you're going to try to get into a magazine. These are functional hardcore fields. And we'll build a more attractive farm later. Every time I talk about playing on hardcore, people are like, I could never do that. Aren't you worried about dying? I mean, yes, every day. Every day that I come into hardcore, I think, is this going to be the last one? But really, if all I do is hide out on the surface, it's going to be ages until anything bad happens to me. And in some way, like, I feel like better about making a video in this style on hardcore, even if I'm not doing anything. And obviously I'm not really doing anything. Whereas like if I was on my survival world, I would be like, man, did I really just make a whole video where I sat still and talk to myself? But here I'm like, yes, there's an element of danger, even though I literally don't even think that there's a monster that could appear out here and fight me right now. Obviously, like creepers and stuff can be in the daylight and spiders, but I don't think that they spawn in the daylight. I just don't think the daylight gets rid of them. But speaking of getting rid of things, we're just going to run over here real quick and clear a little bit more of the land. Because it is nice and flat in this direction. I'm more inclined to want to flatten over there just because of where our house is. Because where you spend your time matters, of course. That'll be important for growing your crops. So if you go a certain distance, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I know how far it is. It's less than my render distance set at max, though. And stuff just won't grow. And we've got pink dye. I thought you could get pink dye out of... Oh, this is just another way to make pink dye. I was like, why would that be a new recipe? I thought you could get it from cherry trees. Speaking of cherry trees, another beautiful cherry tree has grown. And that'll be... You know, that'll be a wonderful thing to finally get my cherry trees right where I want them to be, which will take ages, but not terribly long. Hey, okay, Enderman, time for a brawl. He is stealing my stuff. Yes, I mean you. I mean literally you. Come and get some. Oh, the water. Noob. Totally baited him. Oh no! I didn't have my shield out. man, well, let's just take a look around, guys. So this is my hardcore world that I thought I was never gonna die on. I got out of the water, taunted an Enderman, and perished. So let's just take a look around. Here's a village. Every living thing is gone, just like me. Garuda's gone. Here's another village, and then far out over here. Does it let me keep on flying, or does it just lock me to where I was? Looks like it just lets you take a last look around at what you've got. You know, it really hits differently after you spend half an hour planting and having a good peaceful time. It just makes you think, you know, where did the Enderman come from? That little shadowy place there? I was just talking about how mobs wouldn't spawn and how I would never die. And now look at me. Stuck in the air. Oh, whoa, okay. Apparently you can look underground once you're dead. So there's a whole big network of caves there that we're never going to be able to see. And, well, I wasn't planning on this one, but thankfully I have meditations right here. And I want to relate to you one of my favorite of the meditations of Marcus Aurelius here as we look at our final resting place. This is in Book 8, it's number 20. Nature is like someone throwing a ball in the air, gauging its rise and arc, and where it will fall. And what does the ball gain as it flies upward, or lose when it plummets to earth? What does the bubble gain from its existence, or lose by bursting? And the same for a candle. And then I think about that because the transitional nature of hardcore is the appeal. I wanted to live in this world forever. That was not a joke or a bit. I loved this place. It was great. And now it's gone. This is the last I'm going to see it, you know, and that's its own little heartbreak. But I'm also going to get to spool up another one. And in that one, I'll remember not to mess with an Enderman without a shield. Like, what was I even thinking? He was carrying a block of grass, and I started a fight because I thought it would be okay. And that's natural, too. I was talking out loud about being cocky, and then I got brought back down to earth like a ball. And there's one other meditation in Book 8 that I wanted to share with you. This one I'll probably talk about a bit, but it won't require any understanding for why I think it applies to hardcore Minecraft, as well as many other avenues in life. This is number 18 in Book 8. What dies doesn't vanish. It stays here in the world, transformed, dissolved, as parts of the world and of you, which are transformed in turn, without grumbling. Even if the bad thing that happens to you is your fault, like that Enderman, accepting it is important, because often the bad things that happen can be a lot worse than planting some crops that you never got to see grow. sometimes they're forever, and not like a hardcore Minecraft world is. And as I reflect on that, I wanted to say thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed this Minecraft hardcore journey. It's not over for me in hardcore. I'm going to make another world. I'm going to learn from these mistakes, and I hope that I'll see you in the next video. And the only thing I'm really sorry about is that Garuda is going to miss me, and I'm going to miss him. But every new day in Minecraft is an opportunity to find something else beautiful, and I look forward to seizing those opportunities. Thank you so much.